Hi there students, and welcome back to this teaching module in economics titled Indian Economy 1950 to 1990. Specifically in this video, we will be dealing with economic planning. At some time or the other, all of us have been involved with organizing perhaps a party, a canteen, a function, a charity perhaps, a business activity. Yeah, all this involves planning. When we plan, we are performing a managerial function in a way. It is goal-oriented. It is a continuous activity. It involves an intellectual process. It is basically futuristic. We are planning for an event in the future, and it involves a lot of decision making. I've put, for example, steps to planning an activity so as to bring your mind to what planning is all about. When we plan, what do? We set a goal. We gather ideas and then we decide on one. We see that success lies in the details of the plan. We do not proceed without having approvals of everyone involved in organization. We organize everything and we publicize. Follow-up of a plan is the activity which at the end we must evaluate, and we must look behind and see whether we have done the right thing. So planning is very essential in any activity, because if we don't do that, it will lead to chaos and confusion. So it is for the country as a whole or at large. We need to plan how to organize our resources, how to allocate our resources to the production of different goods and services in different sectors. Because we know our country is large and it involves so many sectors and enterprises. And all this needs to have a plan. And before we chalk out a plan, we need to have certain goals. What is the goal that we seek to achieve through planning? That needs to be looked at. So let us go on and understand, what is economic planning? Well, what is economic planning? Planning is a process in which a central authority of a country defines a set of goals or targets to be achieved within a specified period, sets out a plan to achieve those goals, keeping in view the country's resources. Planning Commission defines economic planning as: economic planning means utilization of the country's resources in different development activities in accordance with national priorities. A plan spells out how the resources of a nation should be efficiently used. Well, what is a plan? A plan is a document showing detailed schemes, programs, and strategies worked out in advance for fulfilling an objective. A plan should have some general goals which are achieved through specific objectives within a specified period of time. Why did India opt for planning? Well, to formulate plans, the Planning Commission was set up in 1950 under the chairmanship of Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of independent India. Its aim was to promote rapid rise in the standard of living of the people, increase production, and offer employment opportunities in India. The 5-year plans were formulated to facilitate economic planning. The first 5-year plan was introduced in April 1951. Why should plans have goals? Plans should have goals or objectives which the country wants to achieve in a specified period of time. Without goals, the planners would not know which sector of the economy should be developed on a priority basis. Here are the 4 main goals of India's planning system when they started way back in 1951. They are growth, modernization, self-reliance, and equity. We will deal with them one by one. The first goal of economic planning is growth. What is growth? It refers to increase in the country's capacity to produce the output of goods and services within the country. It means or implies either a larger stock of productive capital or a large size of supporting services like transport and banking. Now, what is a good indicator of growth? Increase in GDP is a good indicator of economic growth. What is GDP? Gross Domestic Product, or GDP as we commonly know it as, is the market value of all final goods and services produced in the different sectors of an economy during a year within the domestic territory of a country. So primarily, the goal of economic planning in most countries is growth. We want to grow as an economy. We want to expand our base, our resources, our goods, our services. And so it is GDP that reflects to us that the economy is growing. So this becomes a basic or main focus of planning for every economy. The next goal of economic planning is modernization. What is modernization? It implies adoption of new technology. It is done with an aim to increase the production of goods and services. For example, a farmer can increase the output on the farm by either using new seed varieties instead of using old ones, can use new technology, pesticides, and so on. However, modernization refers to not only change in production methods, but also change in the social outlook of a society by granting equal status to women and making use of their talent in the productive process. So we not only need to grow as an economy in terms of the amount of goods and services that we produce in the economy, we also need to go in for modernization, use new means of technology in either industries or agriculture or even the social outlook. The next goal of planning would be self-reliance. We should not be able to, always depend on others for our needs. If we can produce something within our own country, we should go ahead and do it instead of importing goods from other countries. A new economy like India's post-independence can become too reliant on imports. So for 7 editions of the 5-year plans, the government promoted self-reliance. What does this mean? This meant that anything we were capable of producing domestically, we did not import. A nation can promote economic growth and modernization by using its own resources or by using resources imported from other nations. The first 7 5-year plans gave importance to self-reliance. How? By avoiding imports. This policy was considered a necessity. Why? In order to reduce our dependence on foreign countries, especially for food. So this becomes yet another goal of Indian planning. We just don't need growth or modernization. We need to be self-reliant as well. That brings us to the next goal of economic planning, which is equity. The development of the economy only is not sufficient. It is essential to ensure that the benefits from the economy are enjoyed by all members of the society. So this is where equity comes in. What is equity? Equity refers to reduction in disparity of income or wealth by uplifting the weaker sections of the society. It also refers to distribution of economic power equally in such a way that every Indian should be able to meet his or her basic needs, which are food, a decent house, education, and healthcare. So basically here we are talking about equal distribution of income and wealth. It is not enough to grow as an economy. to produce more goods and services. It is not enough to use modern means of technology in whichever area. It is not even enough to be self-reliant. We need to have equity. We need that the benefits of development should percolate to the masses of our country. And that is what equity is all about. So to sum up, these are the goals of planning broadly. Growth, which implies increase in national income over a period of time. Modernization, which implies use of advanced technology in the production of goods and services. Self-reliance, which means reducing the dependency on other nations. And lastly, equity, which implies equitable or equal distribution of national income. We have come to the end of this teaching module. So in this module, we have learned about economic planning, what is a plan, why we must opt for a plan, and broadly, what are the goals of the Indian economic planning system. I urge you to go through it again and see that you are thorough with your topic. Thank you for giving me a listening ear, students. Stay blessed.